perhaps no one knows. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown.
Hello, everybody. Hope everybody is excited as I am. We've got a super special guest today. So I am not going to do our regular romper room welcome. I'm not going to welcome everybody. I'm just going to say it once, like how thank you everybody for being here. This is my daughter Bree. This is not what her face looks like, but I did tell her that she could have her camera off when I absolutely convinced her that this wouldn't be so bad. Hi Bree.
Hey, what's up? What's good?
So So I was telling Bree that pretty much when I first started this channel, people would come in because the name of the channel is True Crime Story with Bree and Shar. And everybody would say, "Hi Bree, hi Shar," and then I'd have to like explain to everybody every single time that Bree doesn't do YouTube. She's the podcast co-host. Well, she's actually the podcast host, and I'm more of the co-host with the podcast. But she's not into YouTube. And we haven't been recording too much lately because Bree is working on a book. And but I thought this would be an excellent opportunity because I want to do a podcast episode on Lilly and Jack, to do it over StreamYard and just happen to stream it to YouTube at the same time. So this is kind of what we're doing today. And just full transparency, Bree has not been uh, following the case at all. I've vented to her a couple of times
hmm
over the last 9 months, but yeah. So, okay, what do you know about this case, Bree?
Hmm. See, my kind of words would probably be a little maybe controversial, but they're just
Don't even
a
worry about it.
couple kids that uh, got disappeared, and there's some sketchy shit going on. That's what I know. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a pretty good summary of where we're at and what we
Mm-hmm.
actually know. So just so everybody knows, when we record a podcast, when we're done, I have to go through and I have to edit it to go onto Apple or iTunes and Spotify and all of those. So I'm not going to be paying attention to chat. However, Melissa is backstage and she's going to be starring your comments and your questions and everything. So I'm nervous about this one because I haven't had to tell the story of Lily and Jack in an organized manner for so long. And there's so much that's happened. I really need to pay attention to my timeline and the things that I want to cover. So, like I said, if you have questions, it's fine to put them in. But Melissa's going to be the one starring them. And then when I'm done, unless there's something super important, which I probably won't see it anyway, but I have no idea how this is going to work. So, full transparency there. And everybody, just so that, okay, so is the sound good? You can hear Brie okay? Everything's good on the viewers' ends. And so this picture here, obviously, this is Lily and this is Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to go to my timeline and I'm just going to start really, um, where am I? You guys see that? No, okay, good. Okay, so this dates back to May 2nd, 2025. And so 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack were reported missing around 10 a.m. on May 2nd, 2025, from their home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, located approximately 30 kilometers from New Glasgow, Nova Scotia. According to their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, she woke up that morning to the sound of the children playing in the next room. She briefly fell back asleep, but awoke again, and discovering they were no longer in the house, she immediately called 911. And I'm going to pause there just to fill in some gaps. So there was a kind of a major discrepancy between what happened that morning. So Daniel Martell is the stepfather. Malaya Brooks Murray is the mom.
Mm-hmm.
So they also have at that time a 18-month-old baby. I've been asked not to share the baby's name because there's a custody battle going on right now, and it's got a gag order on that court case. So we're just going to call her the baby. The baby um, stayed in a crib in Daniel and Malaya's bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Malaya got up at some point, got the baby, and went back to bed. Now, Daniel remembers hearing Jack in the kitchen, and Lily had poked her head in and out of the bedroom a few times that morning. Originally, he said she didn't say anything. He just saw her poke her head in and out, but they were in bed, and neither one of them can confirm who woke up first, but it was basically, the story goes, Malaya woke up, asked Daniel, "Do you hear the kids?" Daniel said no, and they immediately got up, searched the house, and went outside. That was about 9:40 a.m. And Daniel ran into the woods, checked the woods really quickly, and we'll look at a map in a little bit. And when he came back from checking the woods, Malaya was on the phone to 911. The 911 call came in at 10:01 a.m. Okay. RCMP arrived on scene uh, 25 minutes later. I think it was 10:26 or 10:27 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
when they actually arrived on site. And now, so just backing up a little bit, just to give you a little bit of, I guess, context. On Tuesday, April 29th, the bus driver of Lily and Jack, the school bus driver, remembers dropping them off at their, or on the road by their home. That was on the Tuesday. Wednesday was a professional development day. There was no school um, anywhere in Nova Scotia. 2 p.m. on Wednesday, April 30th, all five, including Jack and Lily and their baby sister, went to Malaya's grandmother's house to do laundry at 2 p.m. And about an hour later, Malaya took the baby with her to get a license plate for her new white Nissan Pathfinder that her grandmother had recently bought her. Daniel stayed at the grandmother's house with Lily and Jack. And then after Malaya returned, the entire family later went for groceries. They didn't get home until 10:19 p.m. Thursday, May 1st, in the afternoon, the family was seen at Dollarama in Truro, Nova Scotia, which I believe is about 40 minutes from their house. And that was on, I believe it was on like surveillance CCTV video that they were all seen on that video. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is the last quote unquote proof of life of the children outside of the family property, right?
Hmm. Okay.
Okay. So something a little, okay. So the family returned home late again that night between 9 and 10 p.m. The kids went to bed. We had found out that Daniel, when they got home, Daniel stayed outside and helped his mother, Janie Mackenzie, who lived on the same property in an RV just adjacent to the trailer. It was Janie's property, actually. But Daniel stayed outside to help his mom build a fence. They were trying to finish a fence. So he stayed outside, but the kids went inside to get ready for bed, whatever, whatnot. And Daniel said he didn't go in the house until it was dark. Between 9 and 10 p.m., Malaya put the kids to bed. Lily was still wearing the same clothes that they had on that day when they went to bed. So Lily was wearing a pink sweater, pink pajamas, uh, Barbie top, pink socks, and then her little cream colored backpack with strawberries on it was right beside her bed.
Hmm.
And they remember Jack is wearing black sweatpants, a t shirt, and his pull up diaper. Were you going to say something?
No, just listening,
Okay.
taking it all in.
Hmm. Okay. So that's that. Now, I want to see what Chad has to say. Do you think it's a good idea for me to add in the allegations from overnight with Daniel, or should I just go through the story and then go back and fill in those? They're not even gaps, right? It's just stuff that we've heard since the kids went missing.
Heard from who?
Um, Mostly Daniel. So Daniel has been
Is he a
very active.
credible source?
No.
Okay,
At the
so
beginning, we felt like he was, but he wouldn't stop talking. He wouldn't stop talking. Like it was like I I was one of I was the first person who had a conversation with him where I had actually asked him for permission to share screenshots of that conversation. This was back in May. And at that time, we were just taking everything in, right? We were just like, you know, listening to everything that Daniel was telling me and reading these screenshots to the viewers and stuff. And we were all just like, wow.
they
But
want
then
you to
as
go
time,
back. So you should go back.
yeah, no, they're saying like do the
Include that
story and then
movie.
go back and fill in the gaps.
Oh,
That's,
okay, okay, okay.
I I think, whatever.
Okay.
So, yes, Daniel, very, until recently, okay, I'm going to say the last time I heard from Daniel was December 14th. And that was him telling me that due to the social media, I guess, zoo that it is, he was advised by his lawyer to take a step back because of the impact it could have on him getting custody or visitation with his baby daughter, right?
Yeah.
There's just so much to this because I mean, it's different. I knew this was going to be hard. Damn, it's going to be hard.
I am.
All right, so let's jump to so so they had okay at 6 8 it was actually 6:17 and 6:18 a.m. on May 2nd. Malaya woke up to mark the kids absent from school. They have an app now where they mark your kids absent and then they'll get an email confirmation. So we've seen that email confirmation that Malaya was awake at 6:17 marking the kids absent from school, right? The children were heard playing in their bedroom, like I said. Lily entered the bedroom a few times. Jack was heard in the kitchen. At 10 a.m., they were reported missing. And then, so by 11 a.m., there was a vulnerable missing persons advisory issued for the county. There was not an Amber Alert because it didn't meet the criteria, as in so many cases. So, Pictou County District RCMP is seeking the public's help in locating 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, last seen the morning of May 2nd on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station. Lily has shoulder length light brown hair with bangs and may be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots. Jack has short blondish hair and was last seen wearing blue dinosaur boots. Further clothing details are unknown. Vulnerable a missing persons advisory has been issued. The RCMP asked the public to share this information responsibly on social media. And share they did. It got to people where the vulnerable persons alert didn't even affect. So Malaya actually had family that was outside of the county that was calling her and finding out, like, are these really your kids? Are they really missing? So
Hmm.
it didn't go far and wide enough because there were other family members who never did get a missing persons alert about Lily and Jack. And a lot of families sadly found out on Facebook that the kids were missing. So I don't really want to go that far yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play Malaya's um her first and only interview. This was on May the 3rd, so the next day. Obviously, they didn't find the kids the first day. They had searchers out there. They had scent dogs, air scent dogs. They had drones. They had helicopters. Daniel was out there. Family was out there. Neighbors were out there. There was no trace of them. There was no sign of them. I had heard through Daniel, and at the time, for me, there was no reason not to believe him, that the scent dogs lost the kids' scent at the road, but they didn't get any scent going into the woods, which was mind blowing to me.
Hmm.
We did find out that they found one footprint in the driveway area of the property, which maybe would be not a bad idea to show you what we're talking about here. Um, the driveway area had a little bit of a footprint, like a little footprint, and then up on a pipeline trail, there was another footprint. So this is the property that we're talking about. The
Hmm.
trailer here, the RV, sorry, the RV is where Janie lived, and she had stated that she heard the kids that morning. Her dog barked, and she heard the kids that morning playing out by the swing set, which you can see the slide in here. The swings are right beside that.
That's the kid's stepdad's mom, or yeah, mom.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right. The stepdad's mom is Janie. So this is what we're dealing with here. This this property looks friendly enough. I'm just kidding. But you can see it. I mean, it's surrounded in wooded area.
And that's the highway. It's that close. Mm.
Yeah. It's not a highway. It is a main road. It's the 289, but it's not a popular route. It doesn't really go anywhere. If you're not from the area, if you're not going to a house in the area, it's not a real main thoroughfare. I'm just looking to see if there's a map. So Melissa, who's backstage, Bree, she's the one that created this document. It's pretty in depth.
Okay.
Um,
Looks
I'm
like it.
just look. Yeah, there's just a lot, and I'm sure there's maps and everything in here, but that search area, I want to do that later. But anyways, all right. So I'm going to leave this here so you can see. So if they're thinking that the kids wandered off into the woods, I wonder how, because here we have, where is it? Where is it? Melissa, where's the glass sliding door? So on the other side of the trailer from what we're seeing here is right here, the glass sliding door. They said the kids must have got out the glass sliding door. So from the glass sliding door, this here is Daniel and Malaya's bedroom window. And to me, like, this bedroom window is no further away from that swing set than Janie's RV bedroom window. So you're looking down here at the corner of there to get up to the swing set, and then Janie's RV bedroom would be at the back of the RV to there. So Janie heard them, but Malaya didn't hear them.
Did she ever say specifically what she heard? Like, did she hear them laughing, or did she hear just the swing, or like,
She just said playing.
well,
The kids, I heard the
specifics there
kids
would probably be
outside.
kind of important, but
Yeah,
I get it.
they would be important, but we're just not getting them.
Yeah.
So for now, I'm going to play Malaya's video, her interview, See, okay, I think you know this, but this is the only time she has spoken publicly to the media
Yeah.
about her missing kids, has never said another single word about it, which is wild to me. I don't understand it. So I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to mute you as well so that I can play this without an echo.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up. I heard them playing in the next room beside us. And I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids? And he says, no. And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued, not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware, someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
Last few days are
So, what are your thoughts about that interview?
Why can I? I can hear myself twice.
I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
Okay, that's better. I don't know. Kind of. I think everybody handles things differently, and I think that she is obviously upset. And I am also guessing, I guess assuming that the RCMP probably would have encouraged her to do that interview, especially if it was the only one that she did. Maybe they just wanted her to do it once, and she didn't. She's not the type of person who wants to do that, whether it's because she has this issue or that or whatever. But I don't know. I didn't get any red flags really from it.
Really?
Yeah.
And I mean, for the very first time I watched it, I didn't either. And then I listened to it again, and it was odd to me because why are you feeling pain and sorrow? Why are those the words? And why was last night one of the worst nights?
Okay, but
Because the kids,
it's unedited. You're not hearing the reporter's questions and prompts in between, and they could be using those words in the questions and stuff too. And so like you really don't know like what they're pushing for there, or even like if some of it was half scripted. Like maybe when they first tried it, she couldn't even come up with words. You know what I mean? Like we don't really know that side of it. So I don't know.
That's fair enough. And I did say it. I did say it. I knew that you would think differently than me and a little bit more like I'm, I
I
think I'm
yeah.
pretty open-minded, but I knew that you would open it up too. And I don't think she's gonna, no, Gren, no, she can't sit with DT. No, 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 no. She's being fair and she's assessing it for the first time. You know what I mean? And she doesn't know any of the shit, and DT does, and still doesn't think about things. Okay, so all right, now getting back to this. So that interview that we just watched was on Saturday, the day after, and I believe the interview was done around 11 a.m. So the search continues, okay? And Malaya's family is there. Daniel's, some of his family is there, and they're all searching the woods, and there's RCMP, and there's actual ground search and rescue there with their drones, helicopters, the whole nine, right? They are searching the woods. And we heard from Janie, Daniel's mom, and Daniel that Malaya's entire family just stayed in the trailer the entire time. They didn't go out and search. It was very odd to them, but at the same time, it was like they had the police, they had ground search and rescue, helicopters, drones, dogs, everything. So to me as a mother, the more I thought about it is I wouldn't want to find my children myself. Do you know what I mean? That would be pretty traumatic. So I don't cast judgment on the family, Malaya's family, for not going out to look. But anyways, later that day, there was an altercation at the end of the driveway because Malaya had admitted to her family that Daniel had been using meth since the night she was induced with their baby. Or she knew since then that he was doing meth. So the family freaked out and started kind of accusing Daniel of having something to do with the kid's disappearance. Um, yeah. So, anyways, they were all called to a briefing. Um, and at this briefing, they were shown, where's the search map? They were shown search maps, like where they had searched already. And one of these, this one here, was shown to Malaya and Daniel and everybody about the area that they had searched. And at that point, Malaya had a nervous breakdown. She excused herself and she went into the ambulance to get help, I guess. And while she was in the ambulance, she had a private conversation with her mother, Cindy. Daniel had tried to, I guess, get Cindy out of there. And Daniel was trying his best to talk to Malaya, but Cindy wouldn't allow it. And so, anyways, long story short, Malaya ended up leaving with the baby and her mom and the rest of her family. They left on Saturday and never went back. So, what do you think about that? A mom of two missing kids leaving the area where the kids went missing from.
My opinion would probably be that the mom and her didn't trust the stepdad in that family, so they need to get the fuck out of there.
Mm.
Because if she didn't do anything and they're just gone with the wind, then the only thing I'd be looking at too is the other people on that property.
Right. A lot of people took issue with Malaya leaving and never going back because what mother would leave where the kids went missing from? Um, and that's just looking at it from that day, right? Since then, Malaya hasn't made a single post on Facebook about her missing kids. She hasn't talked to anybody about her missing kids. Like it's almost like she's not looking for her missing kids. You know what I'm saying? So there's
We're
a
assuming she's of sound mind, though. You're assuming she's just a regular, like, woman that like you and me might claim ourselves to be, but we don't know like how her life was or how her schooling was, or if she like we don't know anything like that, or how she would deal with things though. So I get it, I know, but when it comes to stuff
No,
like that,
because
I don't judge it as harshly as a lot of other people might. I don't.
you're you're kind of going the same way I am, but I have even um more insight to that in my, and this is just my opinion, you guys, but we know that she had worse than postpartum depression. Um, we have come to find out that, not find out, but allegedly abuse going on in the house. Her appearance in that video was obviously one of, I mean, she didn't look good. She didn't look well. Obviously worried, in my opinion, but also her shirt was a little bit stretched out and blood in her ear. I know you didn't notice that. That's just some of the extra shit that we've been kind of digging into, but on its face, it was odd. But then if you take everything into context, her mental health, the living situation that we don't know for sure what she was going through there,
Look at
but
the
then being
property too. Could
right.
you live there? Could you?
No,
I couldn't. I
no,
couldn't handle that.
no.
So when we
And
do
then
not have similar minds.
looking at this map, that would be overwhelming for anybody to think that you looked all those places and my kids aren't there. I mean, I would freak out. I mean, I would.
Maybe she lost all hope right away too. If like that's why hope is a word, right? You either have it or you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. But then, like I say, you leave to go somewhere else to get yourself out of that situation. You still want to find your kids. So I get you don't want to be in front of a camera, and that's got nothing to do with it, but you can still hang missing persons flyers. You can use your social media to get the word out. Crickets, like nothing. So
Regular person, yeah, for sure. You'd go out there and you'd do what you could do for your kids 100%.
yeah. So then fast forward to the next day, obviously still haven't found the kids. Obviously still to this day. So this is the first time that we're seeing Daniel Martell. This is his first interview. There's a few, I'm just gonna let it play out a little bit just to kind of, fast forward a little bit. But yeah. And yeah. So just one sec.
Used to get there, and as soon as I noticed they weren't there, I immediately jumped right in the vehicle and surveyed all the area, every dirt road, every culvert I could find. As soon as I seen they were missing, I jumped right in the vehicle and I did every dirt road and searched every culvert. The very first day I wasn't around very much because I was just searching. I was running through the woods, screaming their name till my throat hurt. Jack just absolutely loves bugs, dinosaurs, anything like that. But Lily loves girly things, but she also loves doing everything with Jack, bugs. They're like best friends, not just brother and sister. And Jack just absolutely loves bugs, dinosaurs, anything like that. Well, Lily loves girly things, but she also loves doing everything with Jack, bugs. They're like best friends, not just brother and sister. They took their boots. That's pink boots for Lily, blue boots for Jack, with dinosaurs on them. Lily had her backpack with white, and it was white strawberries on it. I imagine now if they're in the woods, that it'd be probably brown, but I don't see them carrying their backpack. I don't see them keeping a pull-up one for that long after it got soaked from the very first day. We only found the 2 boot tracks outside of the house.
Whereabouts?
Rick said that's probably 10 feet away from the backyard.
In the backyard, okay.
Nothing new. The helicopters are still in the air, and they had dogs. They took dogs today, and as of last night, they had 8 more drones going on in infrared. I urge the public to come out if you have anything, come out as fast as possible and get it to any detachment or any police service that you have available to get to talk to. We were searching. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day, we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that, screaming loud as I can. Just my head from my throat hurt, running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in military outfit said I could go back into the woods. Hate being wet and cold. So the immediately would have came right back into the house. The only two prints are right beside the house facing the road, and then that's it. Just waiting and waiting and waiting for him to come home.
So there's a small taste of Daniel Martel through the first number of months, and I can hear the crackling too, Gren, and I don't know. I tried a couple of things and it was still going, so I don't know. I don't know what happened. So, anyways, yeah. So this is Daniel in the public eye, right? This is the media, the mainstream media interviews that he's giving. What are your initial thoughts of Daniel?
Well, I mean, I think you said earlier that he did a lot of meth, so right? Is that right? So I mean, no judgment, I guess. But like I went into that thinking that he's a meth user. So that's all I'm kind of thinking about right now.
You went into that thinking that, or did you notice anything like, especially in the first one? This is like the first day, the Sunday. Like, dude doesn't look good. Like, he looks, uh,
Well,
not
I
good.
mean, drug addicts usually don't look too good. I don't
But was
know.
it because I told you that, or it's probably because I told you that? Damn,
Probably.
I tainted the jury pool.
But either way, like I mean, I don't know. Yeah, no, it's probably tainted. Like I don't know.
Oh, darn.
Oh
That's too bad.
darn. But no, either way, I mean, if we're being completely honest, I'm sorry if there's male males in the lobby, but I mean, like right off the bat, like I'm gonna just be a little sus on him because there's kids missing and he's the stepdad, and I just don't trust him. I'm sorry.
No, for sure. And like, seriously, what do you think about the biological mom, 100%, like mom's not looking for the kids, but stepdad is obsessed with finding the kids for months, up until
Is he
December,
obsessed with
literally.
finding the kids or is he obsessed with the attention? I don't know. I don't know the case that well, but that's what it's giving.
This is just mainstream media, like the amount of screenshots, and he would come into YouTube chats, and Sonny used to say it's like whack-a-mole because you never knew when Daniel was going to show up. But you damn well knew that if you had his name in the title, he was going to be there in your chat and he would pipe up every time without fail. And you're talking hundreds of live streams over the last few months, and he was in a good portion of them. Just throwing info out, just throwing little nuggets out and saying shit that just was just like, what did he say? And like you got really quick at taking screenshots. It was like, what the fuck is he saying right now? And why is he saying that? I mean, it was wild. It was bizarre. And I think that when the children are found, if Daniel had anything to do with it, I think that they're going to study his behavior and this for a very long time, because I don't think I've seen manipulation of social media to distract people from an actual investigation in my entire life. Like the rabbit holes people have ran down because of this man and people who are, close to this man. It just it's crazy to
He's
try to.
probably used it to distract himself as well, especially if he did like something or has a hand in something going on there. He's probably spiraling just as much, honestly,
Mhm.
as media.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think he was spiraling up until pretty recently. We'll get into it. Pretty recently. So basically, the RCMP have come out and give such small updates with no real substance to them, right? We've gotten, we get the number of tips that they're dealing with, the numbers like of video surveillance and videos that they're reviewing, the amount of tasks that they have, that kind of thing. And they're basically saying that, nothing is off the table. They came out very early and said they had no evidence to support the theory of an abduction. And a lot of people ran with that, saying, well, they're saying no abduction. Meanwhile, Daniel was telling everybody who would listen that he believed that Malaya took the kids and hid them, or Malaya's mom took the kids to get Malaya away from him, one of the two. But they still, to this day, believe that Malaya or somebody close to Malaya took the kids. And that was that is still to me a very sore subject, because if the RCMP are not prepared to say there was an abduction, it doesn't matter if Malaya herself walked them off the property. It's still an abduction if they're reported missing and not found yet. Number one. Number two, it's still criminal. So this is like, it's really hard to, because now I've jumped way ahead, but not really, I guess, because that's kind of where we're at with. Now we're just going off of speculation and theories that are being fed to us by this individual, Daniel Martel. And yeah, what, I, yeah. Just one sec, I'm looking. Okay. If I'm gonna stop, then I have to make it like a big stop so that I can edit it easily later. Um, have you checked out our YouTube page, Bree, ever?
um,
No?
like, have I watched videos? No.
No.
Have I
Just
looked
looked
at
at it.
it? Yes. I'm
Have
pretty
you?
sure I
Oh,
set
that's
it up.
exciting. That's pretty exciting. Yeah, but look at it all. Look at all the videos. Do, and then all the podcasts go on there. And then,
Slay, girl. You're
right?
killing it.
And right. But look at all the live streams. Deadly. It's so cool. Anyway, sorry. Off track. Okay. So, where are we? You know what? Um, I want to jump ahead to Janie. I think I've seen enough of him. I don't need this anymore. I want to jump ahead to Janie, because so Daniel was doing a lot of his mainstream media in June and July, um, and August. So mid-July is when we first heard from the step grandma, Janie McKenzie. Now, just right after this interview was filmed, Janie joined a private Facebook chat group, and she answered questions with voice clips. And I have all of those. They're on the channel, and most of them are put together, and it's like 2.5 hours long, whatever. But this aired after those of us in that private Facebook group chat had already heard from Janie. And she was basically regurgitating what she told the media here, but in a completely different tone and manner, right? Like she was in, I'm not going to taint you right yet. I'm not going to do it. So we're going to watch Janie right now for a few minutes. And obviously that's it for like the official timeline, right? Now we're getting into our thoughts and opinions based on the interviews and the information that we've been given over time, right? So I'm going to, Ian's cooking something and I think it's burning. So I'm gonna play this, and then I'm gonna go make sure he's not burning anything down. But I'll be back. I'll be right back.
So this is the patio.
This is the patio door
that Jack and Lilly would have.
that Jack and Lily came out of.
So it's the morning of May 2nd. Take me through what happened.
Okay, I was up at 6 o'clock, sat in there and had my tea. And then on Facebook, 7 o'clock, I get up, come over here, fed my chickens. My brother, Ron, called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town with him. And I said, no. I said, I'm staying home. I said, I'm going back to bed. Okay, I went and I laid down. Next thing you know, my dog started barking and the kids were out in the yard. Now, you can see there's 2 swings where the kids play. My bedroom is right there. I heard the kids. This is where the kids' swings are. This is where they always played.
And so that's where
That's where I heard them. And I can hear everything in that trailer. If 2 kids get out of a fence, and Jack and Lily are all the time yelling, especially Lily, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go, Jackie. It's all I hear out here. When the kids get out of the fence and come out through here, I would have heard them yelling, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go. I didn't hear anything. The next thing I heard is I heard Daniel yelling. He was yelling for Jack and Lily. I didn't get up because I thought he was yelling for Jack and Lily in the house. So the next thing you know, I was come out of the trailer after I heard Daniel, about, I'd say 10 minutes after I heard him, I come out of the trailer. I opened up the door, was standing here. Malaya was standing right here with Meadow on her hip. And I come out and I said, what's up? She said, Jack and Lily are missing. I said, how long? She said, about 20 minutes. I closed the door, got my boots on, came out here, ran up in the woods. Just right up here. The kids have a little fort that they made out of sticks and fir branches. And that's where they go. You can see them and hear them. We went for walks in the woods. I had to practically parry Jack through the woods because there was no way that he was walking through all that tree falls and bushes. I did this whole area. There's an old road up back. When I got up to the end, to the top of the hill, I met Daniel. And I said to him, I said, did you find them? He said, no. He said, you coming with me? I said, no. I said, I'm going to search this area. Because when she told me the kids were missing, you automatically think they went into the woods. That was my first instinct.
Mhm.
So I went up and I did this whole area, this whole wooded area, right up to the top of the dirt road, came back down here and came back down the side of the road, came back down here and came back up the same spot. I went back into the house. By the time the cops were here, I don't know exactly what time, I didn't take my phone. The cops were here. There was a bench sitting here, or a sawhorse, it's over there, was sitting here. I was sitting on it, bawling my eyes out. I was crying because I blame myself for not getting up that morning to see the kids. Because if I would have got up, this wouldn't have never happened. Okay? That's why I was crying.
We've heard a lot about the patio door.
Okay,
Yeah. So let's go see that.
sure.
So this is the patio
This is the patio door
that Jack and Lily would have.
that Jack and Lily came out of.
And so tell us why we've heard about the patio door.
Because everybody's saying on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok that the patio door makes a noise. And why they didn't hear the door open. The bedroom is back there. Okay?
That bar window.
The last window is the bedroom.
And so they would have come out this door
They would have come out this
that
door.
morning.
Yes.
And then they went and played on the swing set.
Yes,
And that's when you heard them.
that's when I heard them. Right here in this area here. I plan on putting a pool up this year for the kids. You need level ground for a pool. That's what I was doing. I was leveling out the ground to set up a pool.
Thoughts so far, Bree?
I don't know. She's aggressive. She's abrasive.
Aggressive and abrasive. Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of giving mother of that other guy.
So okay. I wanted to fill in a couple of gaps here. So people were saying that the looking at the trailer, there's no way that sliding glass door doesn't make a noise. Okay. We came to find out that Daniel had kept a wrench over the door of the main door on the other side because he was worried about a black bear that had been in the area. My question was, okay, so you're scared of the bear coming in, but you're not afraid of the kids getting out. If it's so easy for them to open and close that sliding glass door, you know what I mean? Like you didn't secure that back sliding glass door, but you secured the front door. Just that didn't make sense to me. Um, Another part about this, we're going to hear from uh, the kid's biological grandmother on the biological dad's side. Um, and she had talked to Janie, and Janie told her that she had been filling in potholes, like raking gravel, filling in potholes. But that story changed into she was leveling ground in front of the RV to put a pool up for the kids. But my question was, who puts a pool in a muddy driveway for kids when you've got a yard, fenced in yard, like just on the other side of that green fence that you're looking at? Um, it was just, it was odd. It was odd to me.
True. Yeah.
What
There's a
else?
few odd things.
Mm-hmm. And then okay,
Definitely.
so the other part is imagine, just put yourself in this situation, okay, and your kids are missing, or you're just even you're observing this go down, okay? So Janie comes out of her trailer because she hears Daniel yelling for the kids. She comes out and Malaya is standing there and she's on her phone, and Janie asks her what's going on, and Melinda says kids are missing, and Janie says how long? About 20 minutes. That's what Janie said. That's what Janie said. So picture that conversation in your head, keeping in mind that allegedly Janie had heard the kids playing on the swing set not long before that. So that to me doesn't make sense either. Number one, if they're such great parents and they never let the kids outside on their own, why is it so nonchalant? Like, oh, they're missing again. How long? 20 minutes. That doesn't make sense. Like, it would have been like,
Well,
what do you
I
mean? I just heard them, you know?
I think the only obvious lie there is that the kids never go outside by themselves.
Yeah,
Like we're seeing the area set up in like that little woods area, and like there's no way that they don't play by themselves outside.
yeah. Yeah. And come to find out also that, okay, so Janie in the private Facebook group chat, she was telling us that she was always having to tell Malaya that the kids got outside, the kids don't have their coats on. She was always the one to watch the kids, and she didn't that day, and that's why she blamed herself so hard. But also that day, so this day, she decided she wasn't going to get up and check on the kids. But also that day, normally on Fridays, she goes to town with her brother Ron. And at 8:48, she was talking to her brother Ron on the phone about going to town. And that day she decided she didn't want to go to town. Why are we so out of our routine on the day that the kids go missing? It's odd to me, especially if you take into account, like you said, her abrasiveness. And in the private group chat, you hear her voice and it's like disdain for the kids, and she can't stand Malaya. You hear a different, like an even worse tone, honestly. So, and we'll finish watching this because she gets into the boot print and stuff. But once this is done, I'm gonna bring Melissa up because I probably missed things in the timeline that Melissa probably caught. But she'll be able to fill in some of the gaps and catch us up properly. So Breeze. I mean, she's. I told you guys. I told you. Okay, just a sec.
Investigator search and rescue and everything. Right around here was where they found the only footprint.
This is where the boot.
This is where I was raking that night. That's where the boot print was found. In the mud where I was raking.
I thought there was two boot prints.
There was supposed to be a footprint found way up on the pipeline.
Right.
Malaya sent me the picture of it. That's all I know. There was a footprint found.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, the footprint was here. The only one that they can confirm that was Lilly and Jack's was right here.
So
I
it was
got-
child size.
Yes, a man, one of the investigators came in here and was measuring it all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to lie. The reason why I wanted you guys to come here and do the interview here is to show you exactly where everything took place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to show people that this is what happened. All the stuff that people, all the rumors and accusations about us murdering the kids and burying them on the property, this place has been searched thoroughly. The well has been checked, the septic tank, all the barns have been searched. My RV was searched 3 times. The trailer was searched. This whole place was searched. If they want to come back and search again, they're more than welcome.
You've talked about drones flying over your property. You've
Yes.
talked about cars driving down the road and
Yes.
down. What's that been like?
I'm scared to go out sometimes in my own property. I mostly stay around back here. And if I do go out front for anything, I usually have my head down because I don't want people to see who I am. That is me myself. It's not because I'm hiding from anybody. I don't like to be on camera. I don't like my picture taken. I'm just a quiet person that just wants to be left alone, and I mind my own business. I'm just a hermit.
Do you feel as if the finger has been pointed towards you and Daniel?
Yes, I do. Because I live on the property. Come on.
Do you think your son had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly?
No, I don't believe Daniel had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly. Our heart don't lie, and my heart is telling me that my kid did not have nothing to do with this, and I had nothing to do with this. You know, if something bad happens, you get like your heart drops. Mine hasn't dropped. Deep down in my heart, I do believe Jack and Lilly are alive. It's not because of what people are saying. It's my heart tells me that they are alive.
My head hurts.
Oh, you're lucky. I am going to just give you a couple of little snippets of the voice clips so you can hear the difference. What? There we are. Look at that. Just so you can hear the difference in that's mainstream media tone compared to Janie's voice. Just a sec.
Hey, Daniel is a big boy. For a minute. I was saying, if you have to call their mother to tell them that Jack has no boots on or Jack has no coat on, and if she's supposed to be watching them all the time, that's a bunch of bullcrap. Because I would even watch my other 2 grandchildren when they were out in the yard, and I would always keep an eye on them when they were in the yard. And I was always yelling for them, where are you guys? Where are you guys? And the only time those kids really get outside is when she was putting Meadow down for her nap.
And when she would put Nano down for her nap, she would go down for her nap too with Nano.
I mean, honestly, that's a fair representation about the whole thing. But even when she was speaking about Jack and Lily, her tone was like that. Sometimes she would get like upset because like of the disruption to her dog's life. I shit you not. And I mean, I know you get it. You get it. It matters. Um, but uh, I don't know. There's just
Reputation,
something. Pardon?
reputation
Yeah.
to her dog's life.
Yeah. Yeah. The disruption to her dog's life, you bet. Yeah. Um, the dog didn't. Lily, here's a piece that you didn't know. So Malaya says that the kids were, well, you heard in the interview they were slightly autistic. They were not diagnosed autistic, but she just assumed they were autistic. And do you remember when Jackson was a baby and he would do that? He would get really laughy and excited and he would do that scream thing. Lily
Yep.
would do that too. Just no regulating the emotions, just screaming. But apparently the dog didn't like the scream, so she kept the dog away from the kids. But her dog is very important to her. Very, very important to her. Um, but anyways, see now I'm getting distracted in chat again. But anyways, it's called stimming. Yeah. Okay. So Melissa, I have asked you to join here so that you can fill in any gaps that I've missed. I'm like I know that I've missed a ton just because I'm trying to keep it to what we know. And now we're in July. So do you have anything that you wanna to fill Bree in on that I've missed that you think is important?
So, hello, Bree. I know I said hi backstage, but I want to say hi again. It's good to have you. Um, One thing that you have not said yet, and this is coming from Daniel, that at midnight on the second, I know a lot of people say the first, but if it's midnight, it is technically the second, that he flicked on the light to check on Jack and Lily, who were supposedly sick. Um, Beforehand, and they had been out of school due to a cough of Lily. And then supposedly Lily got the black eye while they were at grandma's house. And so he says that he flicked on the light and that both kids were under the covers. So he did not actually see them. That would be the first thing. And I don't know if you want me to give the timeline of when the neighbor said he heard a vehicle or not to Bree.
Yeah, for sure we can. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is all just filling in the stuff that we've heard now, right?
Yes. So, according to one of the neighbors, Brad Wong, between 12:22 and 1:05 a.m. on the second, he heard the first trip, and it went to Laird Road, and then between 1:10 and 1:45 a.m., he heard a second trip that went to McLeod Road. That trip, the vehicle stopped for approximately 20 minutes. Between 2:30 and 3:10 a.m. on the second, there was a third trip heard by Brad Wong, and this trip went to Matheson Road. Between 4 and 5 a.m. on the second was the fourth trip, which went to Lansdowne Road. And if I'm not mistaken, that one was with a vehicle that sounded different than the other trips.
So I'm assuming that like the RCMP heard that too, and then they checked out those areas that the trips went to.
So the RCMP does know about the trips, and the RCMP did come out at one point and say that they could not corroborate the vehicle there was no video footage of it, but they're in a very rural area, so the chances of having video footage, is cut down drastically. So they have heard it. They have, from my understanding, checked out those areas. One of those areas, there was a um, star like you would get at a child would get at school, and that was on a bridge. Um, and then there was a blanket found in a tree, part of the blanket that was at one point hung up over a door or a window to help keep the cold out.
Okay, and then just from the RCMP side of things, like what are they saying to public at this point?
So right now, they're not saying a whole lot. They're saying that nothing is off the table for them. They're keeping all options open. That they're not willing to name a specific suspect yet. They say that there's nothing to corroborate what the neighbors heard. And it was not just one neighbor, there was a second neighbor that heard a car on at 1:30, heard a car on Highway 289, and it turned around by the railroad tracks near the end of Gerlach Road and Lansdowne Station Road, and that it both neighbors said that the vehicle was in earshot the whole time. So RCMP is just saying that they have nothing to corroborate that, and they are keeping all options open.
Yeah, this is a rough one. Damn.
So what we're looking at here is 1407 at the top here where my mouse is, that is Daniel Martel's place. That's where the kids went missing from. And then towards the bottom, this property here, this is where Brad Wong lives. This is where he was outside working and saw the lights go. And we were like, that's a lot of bush to see lights through, right? Like that seems like a pretty big area. But Brad Wong actually he talks to us and he was good enough to go out at night and take a video just to show us he is so elevated that you can indeed see vehicles coming and going up and down this road. So if you're a neighbor for long enough, I think you would recognize the sound of certain cars or whatever. So it is possible, and I mean I believe that for sure. But then another part too is this again is Daniel's place. And then Lansdowne Road here, this is where Daniel's dad lives, his uncle lives. I think his mom even has some property up here somewhere. He does have a lot of family in the area, and they do own a lot of this land. And it was down this road here that the blanket was found. The piece of the blanket was found up in the tree. Um, but again, scent dogs could not find, any trails or any clues or any scents. It's just it's so bizarre.
And on top of
Yeah.
that, the scent dogs did not track even from the boot prints that were found on the pipeline either.
Right. So it's to me, it's like the kids, where's the pipeline? Pipeline, well, I mean, it runs through obviously, but it's not that close. So the kids allegedly must have levitated from where their two boot prints were found in the driveway up to the pipeline trail and then just dropped a couple of boot prints and then levitated away again because there's no trace of them in between. I don't know, it's wild to me. You can't make sense of something that has no
Sense.
it's bizarre.
It's a whole lot of information, but it's also like a whole lot of nothing to work on. So like,
Thank you.
yeah, I get it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. But I think it's time for you to meet Belinda Gray. So Cody Sullivan is Jack and Lily's biological dad. He is not a part of their life and hasn't been for since Malaya and he broke up. He she took him for full custody, and there were allegations of abuse. He did not fight for custody, but he did not sign off his rights because he was paying child support right up until about 9 months before the kids went missing, when he lost his job and moved in with his mom. His mom, Belinda, does not make any excuses for Cody not being in the kids' lives or any other mistakes that he's made. But she's been honest about that, but she is just more concerned about finding her grandchildren. And she's been very active and very vocal, and she's very positive, I guess, influence on social media. She wants us to keep talking about the kids. She
Was
gives us
she
information.
in their lives?
Not for the past, I think it was 18 months that she hadn't seen the kids, but she explains it in this video clip. When Malaya first broke up with Cody, Malaya was living with her grandmother, Patty, and Belinda and her husband used to go and visit the kids quite often, and she would get the kids, and everything was working fine. And then she met Daniel, and Daniel was not comfortable with Malaya going to Belinda's house because Cody was there, and Daniel was a jealous, what they're like. You're just going there to see Cody, blah, blah, blah. So it was easy for her not to. But then Belinda would say, well, if he's uncomfortable, bring him along, right? He'll see that there's nothing wrong, but Daniel didn't want to do that. So I think we'll watch this little news clip of Belinda. But she was close with the kids. She did love the kids very much so. But when when your daughter has a new, or your ex-daughter-in-law, I guess, has a new relationship, you don't want to impose on that. You think that once they're settled, then you'll get a phone call, or you might be able to see the kids again. But as long as the kids are taken care of, like I wouldn't be like that. Like there would be no keeping me from my grandkids. But I can understand the dynamic. If I had a son and he had kids and the mom met somebody else, it would be kind of awkward. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I try to be open-minded with that. So we will hear from Belinda here. Just a sec.
My heart tells me these babies are gone. My heart tells me that. I am the grandmother of Lilly and Jack. I am the grandmother on the biological father's side. My son is Cody Sullivan. He's not in jail. He's never been out west. He does not have a criminal record. And right now he's living with me. He has been for 9 months.
How did you find out that Lily and Jack were missing?
The mom of my grandson called me. We were in town. She asked if I heard the news. She sent me the article that was on Facebook showing the kids missing. I couldn't call Malaya yet, so I waited till we got home. And I called, well, I didn't call her, I texted her. And she told me that, yes, that the kids were missing, that they've been missing since this morning. I was in a state of panic, shock. But in the back of my mind, I kept saying, well, they'll find them. I mean, I'm assuming that they'd find them. So I told her, well, we'll head out first thing in the morning and help with the search. It was around between 3 and 3:30 in the morning. A couple of cop cars pull into the driveway. The lights wake me up that I'm a fairly light sleeper, so I see the cars pull in, so I knew when it was. So they come inside. They only stood in the kitchen. They wanted me to wake Cody up, and they wanted to know when was the last time he had seen the kids, and that they were just making sure that the kids weren't here. And then they left. So we showed up Saturday morning, me and my sister and we met up with my daughter and we started. Well, I asked Malaya, I said, Malaya, I said, you know your kids. Nobody knows their kids like their mom. Where do your kids normally go to play out in the yard? What direction do they usually like to explore? And she said, well, they always play up in the little woods right on the side. I said, well, okay. I said, we'll start from that point and we'll work our way out. We had spoken to a search and rescue and we weren't allowed on the other side because that's where they were searching at the time. So we just started combing through the woods up through there. We were gone for a couple of hours. I'm yelling for Lily and Jack. We always call Jack Jackie boy. And yeah, that went on for a few hours, but those woods, I started to feel that I can't see them being in the woods. There's trees everywhere. You literally have to climb over trees, climb under bushes. It is really, really thick. I come back out and I went in to see Malaya again. I assumed she was in shock. She was very, very non-emotional, very just flat, monotone. But Malaya's very soft-spoken anyway. That she's not usually excitable. I thought that's made her a really great mom. She was an excellent mom. She never raised her kid or her voice at the kids. That it was always, now Lily, what did mommy say? And I used to think, now if anybody's meant to be a mom, it was her. A part of me still feels that.
Why only a part of you still feels that? What do you mean?
After seeing the place, seeing the condition of the home, it was like the total opposite of what I knew of Malaya. She was always clean, very clean about herself, about the kids, about her home. This home looked more like a camp. Now, I don't know if it's from all the people that were there because I didn't show up till the day after, but it was very unkempt. I was pretty surprised.
I love you.
Lily is, she was my little dream girl. That's the first granddaughter. And I love that she had the brown hair and she had a space between her teeth, which I had when I was a kid. So yeah, she was our little princess. Jack was such a sober, serious little baby that he didn't like to smile. You could tickle him and he would look at you ever so serious, like he was really studying you.
And so how long were your son and Malaya together?
3.5 years, I think it was, yeah. I thought they were the picture perfect family. Then Malaya started to tell me that they were having problems and she wasn't happy. She told me that she wasn't happy and she thinks she's going to leave. And I told her that we supported whatever she decides, that one good parent is way better than two broken ones.
And then how did that change your relationship with Lily and Jack?
I thought it was going to change, but it didn't. Yeah, it didn't change. Malaya, she was a sweetheart. Anytime we wanted to see the kids, she'd come by for a visit. She'd bring them by all the time. It was actually really, really good.
So when was the last time you saw the children?
A year and a half, almost really. It's about a year and 9 months.
How did you deal with that?
Really, to be honest, maybe I didn't deal good enough with it. I looked at the fact that when her and my son separated, my son walked away. He chose to walk away, that she wanted sole custody of the kids. So she petitioned the courts for sole custody. And when she did that, he said he was done.
Were you ever formally questioned?
Yes.
So then it's about a month after Lily and Jack are last seen that they come and formally question you.
So it's about 3 weeks. They questioned Cody for an hour and a half in the vehicle, and then they questioned me for 2 hours in the vehicle.
How did that feel to you?
I didn't mind. I mean, to me, I expected I'm the grandmother, so it wasn't a surprise to me. I'm assuming the sooner they do all that, I wish they would have done it sooner, that the sooner they can move on. So I didn't have a problem. My son was a little upset about it. He said they made him feel like he did something wrong, and he said he hadn't seen the kids in 3 years. So he was a little upset about it. That he said that they really come at him hard. They wanted to know what her favorite color was. And he said, they were babies when I seen them last. He said, she was just learning what she wanted to figure out to eat. I don't know what her color is. So yeah, he was pretty upset.
Have they ever talked to him again since then?
A couple of days ago, they had contact and they told him that they weren't looking his way anymore, that everything was fine.
And have they ever given you any information?
No, it's always the same thing.
Which is what?
They've got everybody on it. They are looking at all avenues. They can't divulge any information that could compromise their investigation. It's the exact same words.
Why are you so sure they're not in the woods?
I have children. I have grandchildren. And I see what kids are like through the woods. There's no reason for any child to wander deep into the woods. There's just not. I think somebody hurt these kids. I think somebody hurt them.
You don't sound very hopeful.
No. Our last day searching on Monday and seeing the woods and seeing the searchers and everybody everywhere. There's no way those kids are in the woods. There is nothing more pure and innocent than a 6 and a 4-year-old.
So, thank you.
Special delivery.
You can say hi to Bree now.
What's that?
You can say hi to Bree now.
Hi, Bree.
Get out.
Help me.
All right. Anyways, so that was Belinda Gray. Very sweet lady. So in the meantime, and I just so I don't forget, Belinda has retained a lawyer and is seeking temporary guardianship of the children because she wants access to CPS records, which we haven't got into yet, but we're going to do that right now. Do you want to say something, Melissa, so I need to close my window?
Yeah, I can. So she's not just wanting access to CPS records. She's wanting essentially to be able, when the kids are found, to be able to make or help make decisions. As far as, what happens. And the RCMP, if she has temporary guardianship, will also keep her informed on the searches and things of that nature as well.
Right. And so Belinda would appear on our live stream quite often in the beginning. And she had said that she's afraid that people stop talking about Jack and Lily. And that's kind of why we keep going, even though there's no real new information. But I mean, we all kind of promised her that we're not going to stop talking about it. Number one. And then another thing that she said quite often was when she showed up, so she showed up to search on the Saturday, the 3rd, and then she went back on the Monday to continue helping search. And when she got back Monday and she found out that Malaya had left on Saturday, she just she knew at that point, she knew in her heart that the kids weren't going to come back because if Malaya left, then she knew the kids weren't coming home. And I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I mean, this is this not only not the only sad part, but this is the only real emotion that we get from any family in the case.
Yeah. I mean, it's just worlds different, like those interviews. There's one hectic walking around the property yelling at the reporter who looks like she's just trying to get through it. And then there's this sweet woman stationed in front of greenery. It's obviously worlds different. So Um, yeah, I hope that she is able to get some custody going so that she can be more in it and have access to the things that she needs access to.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean that there's other little things involved here that I mean we haven't brought up yet. Like obviously Malaya is indigenous. She's a member of the First Nations community. Um, Rumor has it, and the rumor, sorry, comes from Daniel that the kids were Jack and Lily were granted status after they went missing, but there's no proof of that. But it is odd. So there is, I don't know, you guys, do we enter Durwood or do we just leave that lie? Because that's a whole lot of shit to lay on
Is that the
somebody.
thing that you told me that you were ranting about in the car? Was it like the
Yeah,
um yeah. Okay, I don't even know how to word it, so I'm not gonna touch it.
yeah, the cousin of Malaya's grandmother, um, who didn't know the kids and didn't know Malaya, claims that Malaya took the kids and gave them to a reservation, and the reservation is the one hiding them, and that's what he was going on about for months. And he's a
Right.
problem. He's a problem from the get-go. He's been a problem, but that's just a whole other rabbit hole that I don't think is necessary for us. But it that if there's anything in this case that gets my blood pumping, it would be Durwood at this point. Everything else I can kind of see through and keep my wits about me, but when it comes to Durwood, I just want him to go away. Just go away.
Sure. One
Uh,
thing you didn't mention to Bree is when Belinda showed up on Monday, Justin's um, Martell is Daniel's brother, the stepfather's brother, and Belinda was walking up the driveway to the home, and they passed, and he was crying uncontrollably, according to her. And this is a woman that's never lied to any of us, so we pretty much take her word at everything she says. Um,
mhm. Oh,
so that's
and
another
another
thing.
part too.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
another part too that I think is really important. When Belinda showed up and she was first coming on the property, she noticed Janie was being talked to by an RCMP officer who wanted access to her RV. And Janie wasn't allowing them to go in to search because she was claiming her dog was in there. And the RCMP officer basically said, you're impeding an investigation and I can go and get a warrant. But Janie she didn't want them in there to search for whatever reason. In those voice clips, Janie explained that it was because her dog was in there and it wasn't that she was refusing them access. She just wanted time to get her dog out, which Belinda didn't hear that. She just heard Janie refusing access to the RV, right? So, I mean, that's really important too, I feel.
Yeah, she had to be told more than once that they would get a warrant if she didn't let them, and then she finally relinquished and let them.
Sus.
Sus. Yeah. Okay, so where are we at? So then we started hearing rumblings, and one of the reporters, actually, there are probably a handful of news reporters that are very involved in the case, and they talk to a lot of the family members and whatnot, and they have a lot of sources, as you know, Bree. That happens when you're a journalist. So one of the reporters was able to get from somebody at the school pictures or pointed towards pictures of little Jack with apparent black eyes. Like two or three different pictures just showing bruises. And then all of a sudden we get, do you remember what that was, Melissa? It was like, uh, I think it was a media release related to an internal memo at Child Protective Services that was issued the day Jack and Lily disappeared. Kind of like we need to look into this. because we had involvement with the family back in December of 2024. Um, and they just wanted to go back and make sure that they didn't miss anything. Am I right, Melissa?
Something to that nature, yes. And keep in mind, Bree, Daniel Martell, the stepfather, is saying that the reason CPS was involved is because of the kids being behind in school and things of that nature, like Lilly pulling out her hair. It wasn't for abuse, it was because of the autism and the being behind in school, which I don't know. You can give me your opinion on that.
Well, CPS
No.
is usually called on parents, not what the kids are doing. That sounds like it was blaming the kids almost. I mean, I seen the property and everything, so there's obviously more going on for them to look at. But maybe
Yeah,
that was
and
the excuse he was given. I don't know.
yeah, and I mean it wasn't it CPS doesn't get called because of behavioral issues at school unless they're severe. Um, but if you look at that information with the black eye, but then Daniel would say, well, um, 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 Lily would give Jack black eyes, or Lily fell on a Tonka truck and received a black eye. It was never, he always had a reason, and most of the reasons were the kids would give each other bruises and black eyes, which bruises, maybe, falling down, probably. But black eyes? Like, I fail to remember a time where you or your sister had black eyes as babies. And
Or they would walk into doorknobs.
mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my nephew gave himself a black eye a couple times, but he had troubles with that kind of
And
thing.
that was different, right? That was
Yeah.
different. Like, he was not even 2 years old yet, and these kids are 4 and 6, and it's not
Yeah.
something that was. It was very much, I think, if it was them doing it, it was learned behavior because they hadn't done it before. And look, CPS was called for a reason. And when you hear and see actual pictures of this little boy with black eyes, like two different pictures, and then he's got another picture with a big scuff on his chin, which happens. It happens, it does. But why the lie? You know, why d- there's a lot of saving face here when it comes to Daniel, and I feel like
He's obviously
Malaya's
not
one of them.
trustworthy. And I mean, it sounded like you maybe trusted him at the beginning, and like to me that's wild. But go off. Like I don't think I would have ever knew.
Well, I didn't. Okay, so at the beginning, you're seeing this guy, and all we were seeing at the beginning was him doing this media, right? And then we heard that Malaya left, and I was like, this stepdad is still looking for the kids, like, and that's why I reached out to him, just like, hey man, we're watching, we hope the best, you have support, blah blah blah. And I wasn't expecting him to reply to me, but he did, and I was like, okay. And then I text Sunny right away and I was like, what the fuck do I say? What do I do? Like, I don't want to talk to this guy because I really had no idea. It wasn't until like 2 days later when we were reviewing all of these screenshots where, he really started to remind me of my ex and just the way he would manipulate certain things and make it seem a certain way, but it was I don't know, because like a lot of the stuff in the conversation that I had with Daniel early on was him saying, I don't want to paint Malaya in a bad light. But then I'd go back and I'd be like, but he never said anything positive about her. There's nothing good said about Malaya here. So like I understand you don't want to paint her in a bad light, but dude, you are, and it seems pretty intentional to me. But come to find out, he truly believed, or so he says, that Malaya took the kids. But I mean, none of it made sense. And for him to have taken it as far as he did, all the way up till December when he stopped talking, I don't know, man. It was, I don't even,
He would also
it's,
say things like Malaya was the one that got aggressive, and Malaya was the one that would hit him, and things of that nature. And then the next sentence would be, but I don't want to talk bad about Malaya.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to, and I will. I might as well. Can you see this? No.
Now, Shar, are you going to bring up? I know we have said and told Bree that Malaya hasn't spoke, but Malaya did write a letter several months in.
First, I would like to. I'm going to unshare this and reshare that because I would like to just show Bree really quickly. Most people have seen my conversation with Daniel, um, but I'll bring it up just to give a little bit of an idea. Um, how do I? Sorry if you're on my if you're on my chat list. Sorry. Um, oh, this is really. See, I had it all the way up to the beginning, so I don't really want to do that. My bad, my bad. But anyways, it was very, it was a long conversation to begin with. It was all day this day, and the day that it happened was, so they had the search and rescue and dogs and helicopters and drones. They were there for 6 days originally. The RCMP came out on day 6 and said, look, we're going to scale back the search and we're going to review everything that we have and we're going to kind of do more focused searches in the future. But if the kids are in the woods, the likelihood that they're still alive is slim. It's they didn't think the kids would be alive anymore. So at that point, the official search ended, but then 10 days later, the search started up again. And it was that at that point where I reached out to Daniel when that search, and then there was another search towards the end of the month. But the day that they were out there searching is the day that Daniel was talking to me. And I really felt like he was trying to distract himself from what they might find or you know, what was going on that day. I don't know. That's just me. But Melissa, if you have that letter, we can pull it up. I do not have the letter. I didn't give it. It bothered me. I thought it would be better off if she had said nothing.
So that letter, Shar, is actually in the document that you had pulled up. It is. Let me see where. I want to say it's under Malaya section. Towards the end where it says Malaya messages, under Malaya Brooks interview. If you go pretty much all the way to the end.
The end of Malaya's section?
Yeah. Keep scrolling down.
Yeah, so Bree, these are all the communications. Probably not all the communications, but a lot of the communications between Malaya, Daniel, myself, Belinda, and Sunny. So here's the letter. Is it an attachment or no? Hey,
No, but I can send it to you on Facebook if you want.
I don't know if I want to read it. I just, I don't know if I want to read it. It's here, Bree, if you want to watch it.
I
Or
can read it if you want me to.
yeah, because it pisses me off because this is not written by Malaya. I don't think these are her words. And if they are, they're
Sent to who?
she gave this to a YouTube channel to read out for her. She still hasn't talked, but she allegedly wrote this letter and gave it to somebody who works with a search and rescue company who had it read on a YouTube channel. And she didn't read it herself. Some other woman read it for her.
So, like, did she ever say that she gave this letter to them, or just the
She
people
did.
said?
People said, but the mainstream media somehow confirmed that
Okay.
she claimed ownership of the letter.
Okay.
Are you bringing it up, Melissa?
Yeah, I'm bringing it up on my computer so I can actually zoom in on it. You can see it in the document, but it'll be easier if I'm going to read it to be able to zoom in. So she says, as a mother, I love my children more than life itself and feel so heartbroken not being able to hold my two children, Lily and Jack, kiss them, breathe in their scent, or tuck them into bed, dress them, um, wake up to their sweet smiling faces. The longing I have for them to come home back to me is greater feeling that I could never imagine feelings or put into words how I am feeling. There is not one single day, minute, or second that goes by that I am not thinking about my children. I walk into a store and all I see is things they love that I want to get for them when they come home. The candy they like, the clothes they wear, the toys they love. All I see is them. I so desperately just want them home safe and sound, back into my arms where I will never let them go. I am truly traumatized not being able to hear the sweet sound of their voices, their laugh when they would sing a Gabby Dollhouse song that now only make me cry when I hear it because all I hear is Lily and Jack singing along, not being able to breathe in their scent. When I embrace them tightly, I don't want these moments to be memories. I want my babies back home, my Lily May and Jackie. The pure pain I suffer of just not knowing where they are is, I can't make out that word, my life and the baby's life and my family in the most devastating way. Life feels extremely hard to keep going with no answers. It is just pure loss. The like I can no longer feel at home anymore. No matter how lost I feel, I have not ever given up hope that my children will be returned home to me safe and sound. I have all the faith and hope I will see them again. Please, anyone with any information, no matter how small, please home. Oh, sorry. Please come forward. Please do not be afraid to use your voice to help bring home Lily and Jack. Even the smallest details are crucial. I am so incredibly grateful and thankful for all of the ongoing efforts of the RCMP Major Crimes Search and Rescue and Please Bring Me Home. The RCMP Major Crimes Unit and Please Bring Me Home still continue to investigate and they need your help. You can share tips anonymously at pleasebringmehome.com or contact the RCMP directly. I will never stop searching for my children until they are found and brought home safe and sound. Someone somewhere knows something, so please help bring my babies home. To the incredible volunteers, searchers, investigators, and compassionate strangers who have stood beside us, thank you. Your tireless dedication, your prayers, your time spent combing through the woods and yards, sharing photos, and refusing to give up. You and the hope, I think she means are. You are the hope my children will be home. My youngest daughter are the reason I hold strength and keep going. You shown me that love, kindness, and compassion will shine even in the darkest times. Everything you've done has not gone unnoticed. Thank you with the deepest gratitude. Malaya Brooks Murray.
And yeah, so that, I mean, well written letter for a woman who's shy and soft spoken, and
Whatever. She probably got help from her mom or whatever, her family. I don't have a problem with
exactly,
that
Bree,
letter.
but she spelled her name wrong.
Okay, so maybe she didn't write it.
But I
What's
mean,
your issue with that?
her best friend said that it is her handwriting. So it's just odd. The whole thing is odd. The entire case from beginning to end. It's not even done yet, but it's freaking odd.
Okay.
But so then also Daniel has cooperated 100%. He submitted his phone, he's been interviewed or interrogated 5 times. He recently submitted his blood for DNA testing, and they did a slew of polygraph tests, which everybody passed their polygraph. However, we're gonna watch a video now of Daniel talking about the polygraph test. And you'll see that the only questions that they asked were about the death of Lilly and Jack, or the murder of Lilly and Jack. So let's watch that, because we have to start kind of jumping forward a little bit more than I had planned. There's just so much shit. So we're gonna watch this for a couple of minutes. This is Daniel. Wait a sec, wait a sec, wait a sec. When was this? This one was 6 weeks after the kids went missing, I guess. Okay. Okay. Let's do this.
I didn't kill Lilly and Jack.
It's been 6 weeks now since you've seen Lilly and Jack. I just want to ask, how are you holding up?
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanted to know like what happened. It's been from sadness to anger at this point. And I know the RCMP and major crimes are working around the clock trying to piece everything together. And I'm grateful for that. But it always leaves the question, 6 weeks has gone by, and we know at this point they're not in the woods. And where are they?
Did you feel in the beginning that they suspected you?
Of course, the stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
You felt that from the beginning,
Yeah.
but you don't feel that now.
No, I don't feel that at all. I asked for the lie detector exam, the polygraph exam. I gave them my phone. I told them I do drug tests because there's a lot of rumors online about a drug party. I know the person that said those rumors, and it was just to take the heat off themselves.
Was there any kind of party?
No.
Was there any kind of gathering that
No.
someone might have thought was a party?
No.
There were no people at the house?
No. Not the night before.
Okay, you mentioned you offered to take a polygraph test.
Yeah.
Did the RCMP take you up on that?
Yes, it did.
And how did that unfold?
That unfolded in my favor. They obviously know I wasn't lying about anything.
So they said, yeah, great, thank you, come in
Yeah.
for a polygraph test.
Yeah, it took a little while to set up, and
When did you do that test?
I don't know the exact date, but that would be at least 3 weeks ago, probably.
So roughly 3 weeks after the disappearance.
Yeah.
And I think most Canadians wouldn't have any idea what's involved with that. Can you describe the process? You go in and just tell us right from the start.
We go in, sit down in a big comfy chair, and they have multiple sensory pads. You have them underneath your forearms, you have them underneath your butt, and you have them underneath your feet with your shoes off. You have a sweat gland on one finger. You have a measuring instrument for blood flow that goes in and out of your hand. And you have a cuff on your arm for blood pressure to measure your pulse.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lilly and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What went through your mind when someone's asking you that question so point blank like that?
Your mind has a massive release of chemicals, I guess you would call them. It's like your stress levels just astronomically through the roof, and your body doesn't know what to do. because it's not every day the way you're hooked up to machines in an interrogation room where someone asks you questions like that.
What other kinds of questions did they ask you?
All the questions pertain to the death of Lilly and Jay. Are you accessory to the murder of Lilly and Jay? They were all.
So all of the questions assumed that the children are no longer alive.
Yeah.
There were no questions at all about, did you take them somewhere? Could
No.
they be somewhere?
No.
The police have done a number of polygraph tests. They've done 53 formal interviews. Do you know who these people are?
Yeah.
That's a lot of interviews.
It is a lot of interviews. A lot of them are my family, people that live in the area. And those interviews, typically, my interview was 4 hours. And a lot of the interviews from my family were 1-2 hours. So there's a lot of time taken up and they ask detailed questions.
Do you know who else actually took a polygraph test?
I mean, I do, but I'm not going to say anything that's going to impede the investigation.
Okay. When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
So I'm going to leave that one there. Thoughts, Bree?
He seems really happy about the fact that he passed. That's you did a good job, you passed.
Yeah.
Big demon smile.
Or he's really happy he fooled everybody.
No,
That's
exactly.
how I took that.
Yeah, for sure. He's like, I passed with flying colors, I guessed.
Now, I do want to state, he said that, and for some reason I'm just now catching it, he said that he took the polygraph approximately 3 weeks after the kids went missing. Daniel Martell took his polygraph on 5/12, which means it was exactly 10 days after the kids went missing, him and Malaya both. Janie took hers on the 10th. Cindy took hers on the 12th. Or Cody took his on the 12th. Cindy and Wade took theirs on 7/2. So 2 months.
And another thing too is when he, I forgot what I was going to say because Dodie, you totally, so I mean Ted Bundy, the Green River Killer, BTK, they all passed their polygraph test too. Just throwing that out there. What was I going to say? Damn it.
Were you going to say that Janie did not come out truthful?
Okay, so first, that's what I was going to say. First, so we received in October, we received like a rash of search warrant affidavits because the news media took, I guess, the RCMP to court for freedom of information, to access to this information, and we did see some of the search warrant applications, and in those we had the polygraph results. And I will say that everybody's, like, the documents, and I know they're in here, I'm looking for them.
It's under
But,
court documents.
Well, I know that.
Go up. Right there.
Anyways, right here, okay. So everybody's basically says so and so was truthful when answering, and then it's redacted. And let me just, are they in here? No.
Oh, click on the hyperlink. It'll take you right to it.
Hyperlink, this one?
No, go up on this page. No, scroll up on
here.
where.
Here.
Yep.
Gotcha. So, right, it wasn't gonna let me. Okay, that's fine. But anyways, I
Click
wanted
where
to show Bree.
when you're on that, click it again and click where it says court documents. A lot of people have thought it isn't linked, but if you click on the link and then you click on the little post that comes up, no, over here on the hyperlink.
Right here.
Yeah, you can do that as well.
Anyways, I'm not gonna scroll to find that part, but this is what it looks like, Bree, when it says redacted. So for everybody, it says so and so was truthful or truthful when answering redacted. That's what it says, except for Cody Sullivan's where it said Cody Sullivan was passed his polygraph test. The different wording maybe means nothing, maybe means something, but to me, having everything redacted after truthful when answering blank, that could mean something. But then Janie, her physiology wasn't appropriate for polygraph testing, and she did do a test, but the results weren't released because her physiology was not suitable for polygraph testing. So there's that info for you.
Now, Bree, do you know? I'm sure you do, but do you know what that means? If not, I can read off what that means.
Not necessarily. You can read it.
So, when a polygraph examiner says your physiology is not suitable for analysis, it means that factors like being under the influence of alcohol or drugs, being overly anxious, or having certain medical conditions are interfering with the test's ability to collect and interpret reliable physiological data. The examiner cannot use the results if they are not confident in the readings are accurate and not influenced by external or uncontrollable factors.
So I heard recently, I was told by somebody on Daniel's side that Janie did her polygraph test and they do the baseline questions and they'll give you a question that they've told you to lie on and be in their review before the test starts. And it her result didn't fluctuate whether she was lying or telling the truth. That is that is what I've been recently told. So what? It's crazy
Okay.
to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I might be a little guilty for doing this, but like I just like typed his name in because I was just wondering if he had like a criminal record. And I don't know if it's true or not. Did he get arrested last month?
Thank him. You're jumping ahead. Yes, he
Sorry.
did.
I was like, oh
We're
shit,
gonna
you're
get to we're gonna get to it because we're almost there. Obviously, there's so much that we're missing, and Grindel said in the chat a little while ago, I would have you here for till like 5:30 in the morning just to like breach the surface of the bullshit in this case. So we're not doing that. Um, there are two more pieces of interviews that we're gonna watch. Daniel had done this interview, and it says right here, but he did this interview here on um, January 6th, and it hadn't aired until this past Wednesday. The charges um, were on, this is wrong, he was charged on January 26th, but we'll talk about that afterwards. So right now, this is probably because of the charges. This is probably the last interview that we're going to see Daniel Martel do, but it's a different tone, I think, and I think he's a lot less talky in this one. So we'll watch it really quickly, and then we'll talk about the charges and explain to Bree what that's about.
Okay, Daniel. So, what's the latest with this case?
I think we're gonna have to dive into some questions so I can, really try to answer that because, I mean, there's so much. But what I can say is, my blood was taken or drawn, and they got a few drops in my blood for that to check my DNA because my DNA is obviously going to be on the blanket. But I can't really disclose, and I'm pretty limited on what I know about the blanket at this moment. But I can say, like, with the DNA collection, it's something's definitely proceeding forward with that.
How did that go when they took your sample? Did they take you into the station?
Yeah, it was done at the station. Investigator did it. They have an applicator, which, they hit the end of your finger with it, just like you were testing for your blood sugar. Just, pinch the end of your finger and I had to squeeze for 20 minutes to get some blood out. But after we get those 4 drops out, it goes onto a little pad and it's put in a envelope and then plastic bag and then sealed up for evidence.
Do you know of anyone else who had their sample taken?
No. I was never disclosed any of that.
Yeah.
Nor do I ask because I know I would not get an answer in return.
Right. You've been asking questions.
Yeah, I ask a lot of questions. Sometimes they can't answer.
And was that voluntary or did they?
That was 100% voluntary. They never have to get a warrant to do anything. I'm always cooperative. Just like in the past, I keep asking them, do you want my phone? Do you want me to do more polygraphs? Like I'm open to everything. And I always tell them that. They say, Daniel, no, we don't need your phone. Daniel, no, it's not necessary to do any more polygraphs. So at this point, I'm very cooperative, you know. And when they did up the paper for consent on my DNA, you know, they fill in the paper, you know, May 2nd, missing persons case for Jack and Lilly. And then they go through it. And then there's the box checked for criminal involvement, no criminal involvement. And they check the box for no criminal involvement. And I put my signature on it. And then where's my consent?
How did you feel when you saw that box was checked?
Very happy. But I've known for, you know, since the start that I'm 100% innocent. But to see investigators say that to me before, but then also, you know, see it visually with my own eyes, it was a big thing.
So it's your understanding you believe that RCMP do not consider you a suspect?
I'd say 100% I'm not considered as a suspect at this point.
Why is that?
I mean, from that box being checked. But we can also go back to when I had my polygraph exam. When we went over the questions beforehand, all the questions were on death, right? So they concluded that by the end of it, I was truthful with all my questions or all my answers. So I didn't have anything to do with the murder of Lilly and Jack. And there was no questions on the disappearance or abduction or kidnapping or anything of that nature. So that leaves me with, I didn't murder the kids. I have nothing to do with the disappearance because they did not ask any questions on that.
And so you mentioned that in the polygraph, they didn't ask you about the disappearance and whether you had anything to do with it. But I'm going to ask, did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly?
No.
Did you kill them?
No.
What do you think happened to them?
At this point, I'm completely just not sure. I mean, I've thrown speculation out in the past and, you know, narratives that I think, you know, or theories that, you know, what I think may have happened. But at this point, I have to just go with what the RCMP say because they have so much information. They have more resources and they're the ones that are fully invested in this case. They have the, you know, intellect and professional training to do what they do. It's been 8 months and I know a lot of people think that, you know, the kids are not alive anymore, but I hold out hope 100%. I'll always hold out hope every day because there's no reason not to.
Do you think it's criminal?
Yes. But it will not pivot to a criminal case or a criminal investigation from a missing persons until they have a suspect and they're going to be investigated and then, you know, formally charged.
Do you get any sense from RCMP that they believe this is criminal?
Yes, but they don't openly share that or talk about that concept with me. That's pretty limited. They use as many, I mean, they use the least amount of words they can to convey what they're trying to get across or questions, or it's usually me who tries to dive in depth with them, but you know, they're pretty tight-lipped on everything and they should be.
Is it over?
I have to stop it because I just do. I don't like his shoes
It's like
either.
watching paint dry. Like he's just saying nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He does that a lot.
It's a different tone though. than that last one, right? And there are dozens and dozens and dozens of interviews with Daniel Martel with mainstream media, and that's not even talking about the interview he did on a YouTube channel, the chats he's in, the conversations he's had. Like he has been out a lot. So, what are your thoughts before I share the most recent RCMP interview? What are your thoughts on this guy, Bree?
I almost fell asleep listening to him just like talk on about like nothing. I don't know. I don't know. I think he's guilty of something, that's for sure. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot. I think that he's lucky that he passed the test, and if he did, there could be lots of reasons that he did. So it's not admissible, but I don't know. I don't like him.
Fair.
That's
Um,
podcast. Like I'm on podcast mode. I'm not. I don't do the
yeah.
YouTube, right? So
No, yeah, no,
I can
for
say
sure,
I don't like him.
for sure. So the charges, okay, so we got word that Daniel was arrested and charged on January 26th, and his charges were um, sexual assault, assault, and forcible confinement against a female victim at his home address on December 1st, 2024. Now, we I have the charging document, so I do know who the victim is, but we're not saying it just, because it's not public information, it's not for public consumption. But we had heard from Malaya because people have been asking her for months and months and months. And the one time that she answered text messages to a YouTuber was to my friend Sunny. And Sunny had asked if Daniel was controlling, was he abusive, anything like that. And she said, um, her words were, well, he wasn't abusive to me or the kids. But then later in the conversation, she said, well, Daniel would pick on Jack and sometimes Lilly, and he held me down and took my phone and wouldn't let me call my mom. Okay. So that situation had happened, and that is kind of the only, you can't even call it official allegations of abuse. But there has been talk and rumblings. Obviously, we talked about CPS and all that stuff. There has been that kind of talk. But so knowing what we know in the community about the victim, the charges have nothing to do with Jack and Lilly or the Jack and Lilly case. But it did happen on December 1st, 2024. So Jack and Lilly would have been living at the house. And I mean, the fact is, we don't know what the situation is. He was released on a police undertaking, and he is to appear in court March 2nd to, I guess, answer to those charges. And that's why I say we're probably never gonna see Daniel Martel do another interview, whether they go forward with the charges or not. I think, like, he had already backed away from social media, but I think this will cement him backing out of mainstream media as well.
I think when he no longer has representation, you're gonna see him right back in it.
You
Right back
think?
in it. Oh yeah. Whether it takes a year for him no longer to have a rep, like whenever that's done, he's slowly gonna trickle back in. I don't think he'll be able to help himself from jumping back in the pool.
Right. Especially if the charges are withdrawn or if they don't go forward with prosecuting him for those three charges, I think he'll be back with a vengeance. I really do. I think he'll be back just to tell everybody I told you so or whatever.
I
That's
have to
that's what
agree
I think.
because he likes the spotlight too much.
Hmm.
Yeah, he likes that attention for sure.
Okay, and so this is the last, obviously the last clip, gone way longer than I wanted to, but this is the last clip, and then we'll get to some of your questions. So if you do have anything for Bree, make sure put it in the chat now so that we can hit those before we end it. But let's watch this. This here is Rob McCammon, McCammon. That's right. He is the lead investigator with the Major Crimes Unit, and they have been on the case since day one. Basically, they've taken over the investigation. So he's been in front of the camera, I think, 2 times before this, but this one was done most recently and just aired on Wednesday. So let's watch this.
With the case of Jack and Lilly, what's the latest?
We continue to gather information and then work any direction that that there's more information to gather, review that and look for more opportunities. We continue to take in tips from the public and to review and move forward.
Is this case criminal?
Right now, we're gathering all the information. Once we have all the information necessary, we'll make decisions on any criminality that may be relevant to the case.
Are you treating this as criminal?
Again, we gather all of our information in any of these situations to a judicial standard in case there is information that identifies criminality. And that is part of our job, is to gather all the information so that we can make good decisions with it.
Can you explain how that works under the Missing Persons Act?
Well, basically, the Missing Persons Act gives us the ability to get judicial authorization to pursue different, more private information that we can then gather to review for any tips or leads, directions to go to find more information.
The children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, has also indicated that recently his DNA sample was taken. Why now?
Because it was the appropriate time, or we felt it was time to collect that information, of course. Sometimes DNA doesn't necessarily, not because anybody's a suspect, but to maybe we may find DNA in places where we expect it to be found and we need to be able to eliminate people. So it's something that we do, especially in missing persons cases, that to collect that information, make sure it's safeguarded.
Are any of the children's family members considered suspects in this case?
I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect. Again, we continue to gather information and whatever evidence that we are able to find, and we'll make our decisions based on that. But I'm not in a position to really comment on suspects or anything like that at this time.
Do you have suspects?
Again, we're working the investigation. I can't comment in detail on where we're going because I have to maintain any integrity of the work we're doing. Anybody in the public who has information that can help us with this are asked to please engage with us and pass that information along so that we can work with it.
What do you think happened here?
Again, I'm not going to comment on what I think. As a professional investigator, we have to base our direction on evidence and information. So I'm not here to comment on my thoughts, and I'll allow the information we gather to make those decisions.
From the beginning, RCMP has maintained that this was not an abduction. The families believe that it could have been an abduction. Do you think that that's a possibility here?
Well, if that were something that took place, we will gather the information and we will pursue that, and we will pursue any charges related to anything like that took place. However, again, we don't have any direct evidence of an abduction or anything like that at this time.
So you're not pursuing the investigative avenue of an abduction?
We will look in all avenues of investigation. I'm just, that's not evidence or information that we have directly at this time.
Why not?
Oh, there could be a number of reasons for that. We may not have found that information yet. There could be a member of the public out there that has a key piece of knowledge that we haven't managed to bring forward yet. There could be a number of reasons for that. And the other one being there may not have been an abduction. So there may not be evidence out there to gather. Again, that's why we have to let the information we gather dictate our decisions and direction.
The families say that on May 2nd, they were told by an RCMP member on scene that an Amber Alert would be issued, and that did not happen. Why not?
I can't comment on the commentary that may have happened between a member of the family at the scene. But when it comes to the Amber Alert, the criteria for an Amber Alert wasn't met. We didn't have the necessary pre-qualifiers to issue an Amber Alert. However, we did issue vulnerable persons alerts related to the disappearance of Jack and Lilly, and that was the appropriate kind of direction with the information we had at the time.
Looking back, was that the right call?
Yeah.
Have mistakes been made in the handling of this case?
I'm very confident in the work that the RCMP's done on this case from the initial response that was within really minutes and people on the ground searching property within a couple of hours, and the continued investigative effort by the investigators. I'm very confident in the work we've done. No, I don't believe we've made any huge mistakes, and we continue to put effort in to try and resolve what's happened with Jack and Lilly. I'm confident in the work the RCMP's put into this file.
What's taking so long?
Well, the sheer volume of information that's come in is a big part, and investigations like this take time. We've had over 8,000 videos that we've had to review and go through. We've had over 1,000 tips from the public, and each one of those tips have to be reviewed in detail and steps taken to ascertain the veracity or whether they're accurate or not. And that all takes time, and you have to do it thoroughly and you have to document it properly. So larger investigations, they take a lot of time to do. And we have to take these steps and make sure we get our everything in a row properly to move forward.
At this point, do you think those children are still in the woods?
We've done an extensive ground search using all technology that could be available to us, including drones and penetrating radar for the ground. And we've had human remains detection dogs out there, and our ground search and rescue volunteers covered extensively the area around where the children were missing. So I think the chances are low. However, there's always that possibility that they may be in an area that just we haven't been able to find them. It does happen. It's happened. So I would say that the chances are still, there is a slight potential they're still in the woods, but we're following up on every lead we can to try and ascertain that.
So if they're not,
So I'll stop it there. So this is still a missing persons investigation. They have not determined it to be a criminal investigation. But at this point, 9 months in my opinion, the only way that it would be not criminal is if the kids indeed wandered on their own into the woods and they haven't been found yet. Anything else at this point, I feel like it would be criminal. So, and the fact that he answered that is pretty stellar to me, because up until this point they haven't. They've always, led us to believe that it's possible that they could be out there, and this is pretty, I don't know, to me I felt like he was pretty accurate when he said we've done an extensive ground search, dogs, ground penetrating radar, and the rest of it. So I think the RCMP know that there's criminality here, but they just don't want to shift into a criminal investigation because then they don't have as quick of access to the information that they might need, right? So I'll get your thoughts on what the RCMP has said here, Bree.
I don't know. I don't think that there's a whole lot to say about it. They're obviously keeping it on lockdown. They're not answering anything that's going to help anybody right now. There was like no information. He was just kind of skirting around questions. So,
And that's, I mean, that's what they do, and they've done well this whole 9 months to either not answer or, and just so you know, like they have someone dedicated to social media, right? Somebody is out there following up on things that happen online because Daniel has been so active on social media and so many people talk about this case. They have a person dedicated to monitor social media. It's crazy, and that's why I think that if there is any involvement, they're going to study that behavior, because I don't think we've seen manipulation of social media to distract or direct a narrative using social media like we have in this case. Like, it's crazy.
I think it's important to note too, at one point, Daniel Martell, the stepfather Bree, told us that he had been following true crime for approximately 5 years.
Yeah, and he has since this
Wow.
case, he has taken online investigation courses and stuff like that since the kids went missing. It's pretty wild.
Hmm.
He thinks him and the RCMP are besties.
Yes.
And then they're
Yes.
doing their job right, probably, when it comes to that relationship. Keep going,
Right.
buddy.
Thank you. So I'm going to head over to the questions and stuff, and I'm going to be focusing on questions for Bree. Um, because there's a couple of you that were asking about the green totes. I'm I don't know what to think about the green totes in the pictures or in the videos. So, um, the top of Janie's trailer was searched if it wasn't, but the RCMP decides to. Okay, so what? But if it wasn't, but the RCMP decides to, would they be able to get any DNA now from on top of the RV? I I think it would depend. I was told, actually, Belinda did tell me that she asked the RCMP about that, and they told her that every inch of that property has been searched. So I kind of laid my suspicions or my questions. What was Brad Wong's timeline on the times he heard the car coming in and out of the driveway? I know the car turned left towards Lairg Road at 12:22 a.m. on Friday. Do you have that information handy, Melissa?
Yeah, I do. But as far that was, I started that one before we went over it. Um, as far as when everything was, but to reiterate that, let me go down here. So the first trip was to Lairg Road between 12:22 and 1:05 a.m. The second trip was to McLeod Road, where the car stopped for 20 minutes between 1:10 and 1:45 a.m. The third trip was between 2:30 and 3:10 a.m. to Matheson Road, and the fourth trip to Lansdowne Road was between 4 and 5, and that is when the car stopped, when the car was a different sound than the other trips.
Okay, I don't know anything about Malaya's mental health before the kids went missing, or even before, you know, we've been told that she had postpartum depression and she had struggled with depression, but we have no proof of that. And Wolfie, this here is the trail cam photos from the lady who lives near Glengarry. So you can go into the document, which Melissa has been posting regularly. And also, um, Bree was smart enough to check with the RCMP family friend regarding polygraph results, if they would be able to give those results right away. And the answer that she got was, yeah, unless there was a reason not to, there would be no reason to for them not to give him the results right away. So going up the hill to the shack, I know it's not, I don't think it's in these. Yeah, it is right here. You guys see in front of the RV, there's a little shack in the trees here. There is a ladder going up there.
Is it a treehouse or is it a shack? Like, do they use it as a treehouse?
No, it's a shack.
What the hell? Okay.
It is a shack.
Cool.
And no clue what they use it for.
Hmm.
Do you have it in here? I don't think you do, Melissa.
I don't remember if there's a more close-up picture of it or not, honestly.
No, I don't think there is.
It was just
I
kind of one of those things that was not really all that relevant. So,
Yeah. So in this picture, you can kind of see the ladder. It's going up the embankment a little bit, and there's just, it's almost like a little woodshed up there. But the RCMP said that every inch of that property was searched. So, I mean, what? I don't know, without being there. Um, yeah, I don't think that we can see that particular, like I've seen it, but it would be silly for it to have not been searched because it's right there. So the boot prints were found after the searchers had been looking, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, up on the pipeline. Yeah. If those are the ones you're talking about, the reason why that they were able to determine one of them was likely Lily's was the size that was imprinted on that boot print. I'll get back to yours, Grindel. Tonka toy might leave a cut rather than a bruise. Maybe it's handwriting. CPS doesn't come to the house for autism or behind in school, but kids have issues if abuse. Yeah, and we also saw yesterday, we went over CPS reasons that CPS or reasons that CPS could be could go out to a house, and behavioral issues was one of them, but it was severe. He looked good at first. I thought he was searching his ass off. This is in response to Bree saying that at the beginning, I was believing him and I wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
because you saw this stepdad still out searching for kids that the mother hadn't been publicly searching for. So we all wanted to believe Daniel, and
Nah.
no,
Nah.
Bree wouldn't have known. She wouldn't have. Was her name really? Yes, it was spelt wrong. Why would you feel the need to take online courses in a police investigation and so on if you weren't guilty of something?
Did he do that? Did I miss that?
Yeah, he did. He took 4 online courses, investigations,
How to pass
interrogation.
poly test. Google.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You can literally find those types of things on Reddit, right?
Of course. You can find them everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Have the RCs asked any influencers to be interviewed? No, but I know that we were requested to submit the Janie clips, and we were told the Durwood calls were also submitted. Um, oh, you're still here. I thought I told you to go wait in the car. I have no idea. And so Grendel would like to know your final opinion. Bree?
I think that goes into the next one too. Colleen's like, do you think he's guilty? Yeah. Yeah. Allegedly, I think. Allegedly, I think so. I think he's guilty of something.
So what about the fact that he's been so cooperative and so
Attention. It just all comes down to attention. Cooperative is just talking out your ass, talking out of whatever you have to keep the conversation going and to be included. Not to mention, if he is talking to them, then he is kind of as close to it as he can be. I don't know whether it's like no, there's no way. 100%, I think that he has something to do with it. I really do.
I have a follow-up question to that for Bree. Bree, is there something specific that points you to believing that? Because I agree with you. I just want to know if there's something specific for you that sticks out.
I don't think specific. I think I like everything pulled together. So looking at just the way that he talks, his reactions to everything, his interviews, the fact that he just got arrested. I honestly wonder if he got arrested not just because of like the victim or who this alleged victim came forward, but I wonder if RCMP is also trying to get him in for more time just to maybe spook him or whatever. They have a lot of like strategies for what they do, so you never know. And I don't believe in like huge coincidences like that. Besides that, I do get good-ish vibes from the mom in that like she's a lot of I feel like maybe Shar specifically is kind of taken back by how she removed herself from it. But in my opinion, it can also point towards that it has affected her more so than, you know, somebody who is like in your face, like the stepdad. So she's dealing with it in her own way. And is it healthy? Maybe not. But to me, like her pain is real. And to watch him, like it felt very crocodile teary to me. um but also they have all that land and stuff too. I don't think that's a coincidence. You can't find these two kids, they're just gone. So it's like water or property, and they have all this property. And I guess that's one of
So
them.
the one thing we didn't talk about, and I don't think we really need to go into it a whole lot, but they brought out human remains detection dogs in September, I want to say, and they did not, allegedly, they did not hit on anything at the property, and I think they said they searched. Uh, you're gonna have to tell me, Melissa, how far out they searched. Obviously, not every square inch of that area, but there was no human remains detected in in the trailer, on the property,
Maybe not on
and
their property, but if you also just look at land like around, like there's no way they're gonna know the land better than just like the average person, especially if they've lived there for so long. So I don't think that they would be stupid enough to put remains on their own property anyway. But how long is it gonna take to search the world? You know what I mean? They're not there are going to be plenty of places that they wouldn't be able to find a trail to if these people know the area well enough. So um if it's not him, like I think he knows who, and I think it's connected to him. That's what I think.
yeah. And like I said, there's so much other shit. Like there, um, you know, money issues and um, just ex-girlfriends. Like since he and Malaya broke up, he met somebody online who allegedly just got close to him to try to get information about the case, but then he abused her as well, and she came out with pictures of bruises and these screenshots of text messages about him. You know, they were basically sexting, and his manner of doing that was more aggressive, um, like wanting to rape her and stuff like that. And you know, just everything when you look at it big picture and you take everything from the beginning, you you don't there's very it's really really hard not to believe he knows something at the very least. So just with the stuff that we've talked about today, I'm a little bit surprised, Bree, to be honest with you, because you're usually I mean, you're excellent at reading a situation and taking information and figuring things out. You're absolutely great at that. So, but I thought that you would be still up in the air a little bit more than you are. So,
Oh no,
um,
I 100% am. But if somebody asks me what I think, is different than me like talking on like the possibilities, because technically the possibilities are endless. Like they're I'm not talking in like what I think is what goes here at all. Like I could 100% be wrong. That's just how I feel and how I think and what I'm leaning towards. But yeah, no, like normal me for sure is like I don't know. But that's not really interesting at all to just sit
yeah,
here and be like, I don't know. How am I supposed to know if the RCMP don't know? That's
yeah.
usually my opinion.
hmm Ron, Mexico. So Daniel had sent screenshots of his courses, his certificates to his ex-girlfriend Taylor, and Taylor released them to the DT show and to Sunny and Mike Deman and to Clutch Them Pearls. So they all showed those screenshots, but those came from Daniel to Taylor. Um, yeah, I
So
just Yeah, so
There was
thanks for hanging with us and listening to this case. I know that there are a couple times, like at the beginning when I was talking about these screenshots, and then when I released them and people were saying they were accusing me of faking this conversation, I went to Bree and I was like, I fucked up, like I put these out there and now this is happening to me. And
I
then,
was like, what is you doing
why are
out
you on
there?
YouTube?
I was like, what are you doing out there, man?
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like I said, I sent her screen recordings of the Janie media interview, just wondering because I had never experienced somebody with missing children act so aggressive and just nasty. And that was before I even like I don't know. I just I don't know. I There were a couple of times where I did vent to Bree, but for the most part, she has not been involved. And she's still this is like maybe 10% of the entire picture. So I think it was
Yeah.
good and handy. Thank you, Colleen. That was very nice. Thank you
Also,
very much.
Dodie, it is a gut feeling. I'm not sure if I said the name right, but like I also agreed with a lot of what Dodie said, like in chat, like the entire stream. Like I was like, yep, yep, and every single time it was the same person. So yeah, it is a gut feeling.
So
Anything
to
else?
answer Wolfie's question, because he's asked it several times here, the mine shafts were some mine shafts were searched. There were sewers, um, not really sewers, like wells and things of that were all searched as well. So having seen so much of what was searched, Bree, and knowing that they have searched so much, what would your feelings be on whether or not they are in the woods? Or do you think something more nefarious happened with that?
I don't think they're in the woods. Like especially, I don't think that they took themselves out into the woods. As for hiding, I guess anything could have happened, or like disposing of the bodies. We've seen a lot of really messed up things by a lot of people, so anything really could have happened. And I don't know, like you look at other serial killers and how they hid the bodies and stuff like that. So if he was taking these courses and he was into true crime, and if he's involved, who knows what route he could have taken with them too. So yeah, I don't really
Just
know.
one more. Sorry, I'm gonna see if I have it here because I created. Yeah, okay. I want to I want to just flip through some pictures really quickly and then we'll end it. So here we go with Jack and Lily, and there's Lily, and all of these are of Jack and Lily as well. Just pictures that I've collected over the last few months. So this here is a picture of Daniel with Jack and Lily laying on the couch. And then Daniel was asked by Major Crimes to pack up Jack and Lily's belongings so that they could pick them up because Malaya wanted them back. And this is a picture of all of their belongings in these clear garbage bags, placed out in the driveway for Major Crimes to pick up. And that was kind of a sad moment to see that. I believe that you saw the picture of the bench that Ian and I built
Yeah.
when we had it shipped out to Pictou County and it's installed. This is Jack and Lily's elementary school. And this here is the famous Durwood. He is the bane of my existence in this case. And mysterious black house. This is a house right next door to Daniel's property. And when I say right next door, it's about a 20-second drive, like driving highway speed. It's not close at all. And this here is a picture of Daniel's father. His name is Earl. And then finally, one thing that we didn't talk about, we don't really need to, but there's a organization, it's called Please Bring Me Home, and they're a volunteer organization, and they came in on November 17th, and they did a search. Now, they could not get permission from any of the Mackenzies or Martells, like Daniel's side of the family, to search private property. So what they did is they searched waterways in this area. So there's creeks that run through. There's a little bit of a, well, not a little lake, but there's a lake there. But they had a few search teams go through and they searched, and there were some items found, but nothing related to the case as far as we've been told. But this is kind of the area that the the search in November covered. So I just, like I said, I wanted to share those pictures with you, especially these ones. Jack turned 5 in October, and Lily will turn 7 in March here. These two pictures here, these were taken about 3 weeks before the kids disappeared. They were taken at Malaya's mother's house, obviously during an Easter egg hunt at Easter time. And yeah, with that, if Melissa, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, not really. I think that I could probably go through all kinds of things with Bree and get her opinion. It does look like we have one last question here. It says, so was the top of Janie's trailer searched? Yes, that's what we've been told. Okay, so that was already asked, Kemper, and we answered it. So, I mean, I could sit here and talk to Bree for a while on this and, go into things that were said, like on the interview with DT. But I think just leaving it here, she's done a great job in giving us her insights with very little information.
Thanks. Alberta. What province is Bree in? Alberta.
You need to come back on more often, Bree. It's been fun hearing your thoughts.
Yeah. You're on mute, Shar. Sorry.
It happens a lot. Um, I've been trying to get her to join me with the YouTube, but like I said, she's busy. She's working on her book, and I understand that we haven't been able to really record a podcast episode, let alone get her, to come onto YouTube. I understand, like, I listened to some of our earlier podcasts from like 3, 4 years ago, and we did not like YouTube. And you guys will remember, even when I started, when I broke away from Sunny and I started this channel, I would call myself a borderline YouTuber just because, and you guys know why I started the channel. It's because of how toxic everything was getting, and you want to stay away from that. So I understand why she didn't want to associate herself with that, I guess. But you guys can tell her that, the community that we've built is a little bit different than the rest of it, and you know we're trying to do positive things. Like, the bench was good. At Christmas time, we donated, well, basically over $700 went to coats and boots and ski pants. We did toys for um, a Secret Santa, and we did some food hampers for Christmas dinners for families. So we're trying to do something a little bit different with this community, and hopefully Bree will join us back again when maybe there's some movement in the case, or even with another case. I know Darius McDougal is still missing from Crow's Nest Pass, so we can we can try. We can try to coax Bree on again, and
We'll
wish her
see.
the best of luck with that, with the book. And it's a four-parter, I believe.
5.
Five-parter. Wow.
Yeah,
Good.
it's fine.
Good. So I'm a little surprised that your puppies haven't bothered you today.
They have. They have. They
Oh, okay.
faux show have. I've been on mute a lot.
Okay. So Bree has two little Pomeranians and a German Shepherd Husky mix. So, and she also has a little black cat named Kiwi. So
Yes,
with that,
sir.
I am going to end it. Thank
Thank you,
you
Dodie.
everybody for being
That's nice.
here. And yeah, we'll see everybody probably tomorrow. And yeah, maybe I'll link the podcast episode. I don't know. I'll figure it out. You want to say anything else, Bree, or are you good?
No, just thanks for all the kind words, everybody. You guys are nice people. Kill me.
Nicer than what you'd expect from YouTube, because it does get nasty sometimes. But
Well, no, like I do see other YouTuber stuff. Like I do see it. I know how it can get.
yeah, for sure. Okay, you guys, have a great night. Bye.
Bye.